our academic IELTS website. Click that big red button to join. It's at aehelp.com. For general IELTS, check us out here at gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button to join. Again, lots of goodies there for you. Hi, members. Your timing is impeccable. Hi, Begzod. Hi, Rahul. Hi, Kisi. I saw that we have a new member as well. So new members, make sure to send me an email so I can hook you up with your perks like the 6 exams. Okay, so let's rock and roll here. Moving along. If you have questions, please send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. Members, remember to request classes, ask questions. We have 3 members chat classes each week now. So just send me your inquiries to my email address and I'll set that up. Okay, so here's a quick look at the schedule coming up. So today, members chat, task 1. Tomorrow, later today, after this class, it'll be task 2 writing, where everybody can chat. And then on Wednesday, Wednesday of next week, on the 17th. I'm very ambitious about tomorrow. We have an exciting video shoot. So next week on the 17th, from 15 to 16 o'clock. It's a speaking part 3. That's for everyone. There's no members chat class on Wednesdays. Keep that in mind. Okay. Today is Begzod's request IGOL. That's correct. We're looking at a task 1. And then the schedule continues up. I think I already put the schedule up on the community board, but I'll double check. And if it's not there, I'll put it up. So yes, today is Begzod's task 1 request, and it's quite an interesting one, and it's close to home for me because the question is about Toronto, which is in Canada. It's the largest city in Canada, and being Canadian myself, it's a pretty neat question. So here is the IELTS writing task 1 question for today. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. The 3 pictures show a train station before, during, and after construction changes. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features where relevant. Okay, great. So let's look at that picture. It looks like this. Okay, so here is the picture. The title, it's the redesign of Toronto GO train station in stages. Okay, and don't worry if you can't see the words yet clearly. Just focus on the picture. I'll zoom in on these words as we go along. Okay, so here, right away, when you get to this diagram question, what should you notice, members? What's a really important point to pay attention to notice with this question that you have to keep in mind in your writing? So again, here's the original question. And when you read this, a light bulb should go off in your head and go, okay, I really got to pay attention to this part of this question or this element when I'm writing to make sure that I get a nice high IELTS band score. What is that? What should pop out from this question and this diagram right away to get over 6-7 band? Hi, I'm Ardeep. Good to see you in class. Oh, just give me a moment. I'll get you back on screen here in 2 seconds. Oh, here we go. Camera fell asleep. All right. Get a little picture of my baby girl. All right. There we go. There she is, all smiley. Okay. Yeah, that's right, Begzod. Tense. Can you be a little bit more specific what you mean by tense? IGOL, you have 2 of 3. Yeah, so IGOL says past and present. Okay, so it's past and present, absolutely, because it's before, during, and after, right? So you don't have the year given. So notice that it doesn't say 2010 or 2020. There's no specific date. So you have to really pay attention to the before, during, and after. Okay? So you really have to focus and realize that you're going to use past tense, present tense, and future participle will for the verbs so that you have a high quality essay that gets you a high band score. Okay, so absolutely, those are important. All right, okay, students, so let's start with the overview. So let's begin writing. And for the overview, as you know, we should paraphrase the question and add some more details. So for everybody who's watching and some new members, I saw a couple new members register a little bit earlier. So when you're writing the overview is the first part of task 1. Okay, so task 1 has 3 parts. Part 1 is the overview. Overview is the same as the introduction. It's just a more specific name for the introduction for this expository essay. Okay, so let's start with the overview. Of course, in the real IELTS, please don't write overview. You don't need to write that. That's just for your notes. Okay, so the overview is a paraphrase with some more details. So the 3 pictures show a train station. You can paraphrase that and you can add more details to it. Which train station is it? It's the Toronto GO train station. Okay? What is this? It's 3 blueprints of construction. Okay? Or design. So put that together and start paraphrasing with more details. That's how you get high points. Of course, pay attention to grammar. Okay, I'm going to do the same. Okay, so there's my paraphrase. Notice there's quite a bit of word replacement. Ideally, members, you're replacing at least 70% of the original, okay? So one way to check if you have a good paraphrase is you should have 70% replacement. Okay, I'm going to write that down as a note for you. So you can keep that in mind for the future. If you're only paraphrasing about 50% or less, it's okay, but you should reach for at least 70%. Okay, so tip. Good paraphrasing means you have at least 70% change or replacement from the original text. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. Okay, so good start with the overview there. Now, am I done with my overview? So these 3 blueprints depict the Toronto GO train station prior to, during, and following renovations. Am I finished here? And I'm still waiting for that first paraphrase from some of our students. So Bagzod says these 3 blueprints depict the changes in the train station, namely Toronto GO, in 3 periods, past, current, and future. Okay, Begzod, you've done a good job there. Just one word of caution, Begzod. The name of the train station is Toronto GO. So the G on the GO has to be capital. That's a part of the name. And it's... you don't need the word namely, Bagzod. So these 3 blueprints depict, okay, it's plural. So these 3 blueprints depict, not depicts, because depicts is for singular, so careful, Bagzod. These 3 blueprints depict the changes in the train station, comma, Toronto GO, capital G, in 3 periods, past, current, and future. And then it's a correct paraphrase. So it's a good example, Begzod, for the other students as well, because yes, it's a good paraphrase, but you have to really focus on not making mistakes. In yours, Begzod, you have 1, 2, 3 mistakes. You really don't want to have 3 mistakes in your opening sentence, all right? So be very careful. Take a second look if you have to. Take a third look if you have to make sure you don't have those 3 mistakes. If you can take out even just 2 mistakes and you only have 1, it's going to be much better, okay? Kisi, always start your sentences with capitals. Always practice that. Do that correctly. So the 3 blueprints depict the Toronto GO train station, past, present, and future following construction. Changed construction, Kisi, is unclear and it's grammatically awkward. So past, present, and future, comma, after construction. Okay. All right, Aigul. The 3 images illustrate the Toronto GO train station in past, during construction, and after it is finished. That your second half of the sentence, Aigul, is really awkward. We would not write like that in English, okay? It's full of mistakes, so just be really careful. Rahul, the 3 diagrams of Toronto GO train station depict the past. Again, students, plurals, right? 3 diagrams depict, okay? Don't put that S. If you make 1 or 2 mistakes with plurals, it's not the end of the world. But if you make more, then your IELTS score will start to slowly creep down. It's not going to dive bomb, but it will slowly drop. So careful, okay? Current, future, past, current, and future infrastructure variations. Rahul, that's nice. Okay, that's a nice finish. So students, pay attention to the way Rahul finished his, Rahul Singh, his first sentence, current and the future infrastructure variations. Infrastructure variations is nice vocabulary. Okay, all right. I'm not being hard on you, Bags. I'll just make note of it. That's all. Okay. All right. Yes, my question, and thank you, Begzod, for answering that. So that was my question is, are we finished with the overview? No, your overview should include the most obvious changes that happen. That you should see from first eye shot. Okay, so when we look at these diagrams of the Toronto GO train station, what is the most obvious change? Okay, what is the most obvious change? So what do we realize right away? So not looking at details, okay? We're not looking at the little lights on the train or how many people are standing on the causeway, but we're looking at the main difference here in the before, during, and after. Yeah, so there's an addition of the new floor, and I maybe wouldn't even say it as a new floor. How can you say it? So what is it really? If you say, all right, there's an addition of a new floor, that's fine. So you can do that. But there is another way to express that. There's improvement. Let me try to give you a hint. When you make something bigger, how do you express that in English? An additional layer, Kisi, is a little bit awkward in this context to explain it as that using the word layer. If I make something bigger, how do you express that? What's the verb in English to make something greater or make? Very good, Bagzod. That's the word you're looking for. Very good. Okay. So expanding. Enlarge is okay as well, Aigul. Expand is the word that comes to mind most readily. So fastest for sure is expand. So go ahead, members, write a second sentence using the verb expand. Okay, you don't have to use it in that form. You can use a different form like expansion as Bagzod's doing. So write the second sentence of the overview using the verb expand. I want all of you members to use expand. Okay, so use the word expand. I'm going to write my sentence as well, but I want you to think a little bit. I'll give you a head start of a few seconds. So I usually start with at first glance, but this time I'll start in a different way. I'll start with the word immediately. Okay, and I'm going to stop there because I want to give you a fair chance to do this on your own. So I don't want to give you fish. Again, my goal here is to teach you how to fish effectively. Okay. The reason I'm not, so just so you're clear, the reason I'm avoiding writing at first glance, it is clear that there's an addition of a second floor. You could do that, but I don't want to do that because I want to leave that level of detail for the body paragraph, for my bigger body paragraph. That's what I want to, that's where I will include the explanation of this second level or dividing the lower area into 2 floors. So I don't really want to just outright say it. It's not the end of the world. It's still an okay overview if you do that. If you say at first glance, there's the addition of the second level, that's fine. But I've decided I'm going to leave that. That's why I want to use the word expand or expansion. And that's why I want you to do the same. So use the verb expansion, okay? Aigul, okay, here we go. Immediately, we can see that during the construction, the ground floor is dug deeper and expanded. Aigul is dug deeper, okay, it's more natural, not deeply dug. Deeply dug is awkward English, so is dug deeper and expanded. Sure, okay, that works. Aigul, I suggest avoiding using we and us. Don't bring your reader in to participate with the task 1. So instead use something like immediately it can be observed that during construction, the ground floor is dug deeper and expanded. Okay, Aigul? One more time while we're waiting for the others here. Immediately, it can be seen, I'm using the passive voice, Aigul, it can be seen that during construction, the ground floor is dug deeper and expanded. Okay. Rahul, at first glance, it is clear that Toronto GO train station has been improved throughout time by expanding the platforms in the lower level, not deeper level, Rahul, but lower level, okay, for natural English. All right. Amardeep Singh, the primary goal of construction is, watch that missing verb, the be verb, it's a tricky one. So the primary goal of construction is to expand the platform area to 3 floors for passengers. That's okay, Amardeep, yeah. So you might want to do a little comparison, Amardeep, if you're going to do that. So from 2 to 3 floors, right? So here it's 2, here it's 3. And that's a nice comparison, Amardeep, for the second sentence of the overview. Sure, just make that comparison from 2 to 3 floors for the passengers. Okay. Bagzod, at first glance, it becomes clear that there has been an expansion throughout the period before, between before and during construction. It is expected, additionally, it is expected that in the future there will be a new floor. Okay, Bagzod, it's not bad, but again, just be careful to not overwrite the overview. Okay, so for the overview, that one sentence which gives the main feature that you can see right away, keep it fairly simple. Don't overthink that one, Begzod. Don't give too much information. In most cases, that should just be one sentence. Okay. So, Kisi, the train station will expand after construction from 2 to 3 floors. Okay, Kisi, that's good. So that's in a nice, simple, in a nutshell, right? So that's how you express it in a nutshell. So Kisi, you're very similar to Begzod. You're even more similar to Amardeep, but you've done it in a very nice way where you've really just summarized that very well. So good job. Okay. All right, now I'll finish mine. So immediately, it is evident that the primary goal of construction is to expand the existing, and yes, okay, a little bit unfair here, you didn't see that, but the existing transit concourse. Okay, so that's the existing transit concourse. All right. Existing transit concourse. Okay, good. All right, what do I do next, students? What do I do next? While you're thinking about that, I'll read what IGOL just wrote up. IGOL says, immediately it is obvious from the current construction that the ground floor has been dug deeper, and after that, the new infrastructure will be expanded by making it 2 sub-levels. IGOL, 2 sub-levels. Dash levels, okay? Yeah, Begzod, good. So marking the points, analysis, Kisi says, make some comparisons. Sure. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, absolutely. So before we start writing our analysis body paragraph, or analyses, which is your body paragraph. So before we do that, definitely we want to mark our points of comparison. Okay, we definitely want to mark our points of comparison. So let's do that. So what should I do? What's the logical way to compare these pictures? What do you think? How should I do this? How should I plan this? What is the most systematic, clearly structured way of making this this comparison? Okay, what should I do? Let me know. This is, you have to do some thinking here. Do it quick. Yeah, so IGOL says compare 1 to 2, so before construction to during construction, and then compare before construction and then to after. Yeah, you could do it that way, absolutely. Kisi says something a little bit different, so Kisi says maybe just do 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3. Yeah, I think that's maybe even better for this short essay, is before construction, during construction, and then from during to after. And then IGOL, what you could do is for the summary, okay, for that last third part of the task 1 essay, in your summary, you could do a quick comparison of 1 and 3. So for the body paragraph, I would do 1 to 2. Okay, so let's just call this image 1, image 2, image 3. So I would do 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then for the summary, I would do 1 to 3. Okay, that would be the way that I would do it. All right. Okay, so let's do it that way. So 1 to 2, what's the main comparison here? So what's happening between 1 to 2? There's nothing going on above ground, so the existing track level remains the same. So most of the excitement, most of the action is happening down below the existing track, right? So what's happening here? What's going on? Okay, between 1 and 2 here, what is happening? What can we say? Paula, good to see you in class. Yeah, so Paula, you're kind of on the same page as IGOL. But again, the comparison between 1 to 3, I might leave that for the summary, okay? Yeah, so, okay, this is a column. So this is where your vocabulary comes in, of course. So you can call that a column. You can call it something else as well. So there is another way to say it. Aigul, you don't have to retract it. This is a column. What type of a column is it? Can anybody tell me? So what's the adjective that you need to use for this column? And there is another way to say column here. Okay. Subsoil, I haven't heard that used, Paula, myself. But the ground is removed. I don't know if it's soil. It could be rock as well. Usually it is rock, okay, especially for buildings like that. Aigul, very good. Yeah, it's a support column, okay. So this is your support column, right? Of course, it's bearing the weight of the train. What's another way to say column? What's a synonym for column? Yeah, you have to be very careful with that, Paula. It looks pretty bad when students try to invent their own words, and you will lose marks for that. Okay, if an examiner sees a word that they're like, huh, really? Then they will. I know, it's frustrating, it's funny, but you have to be careful to avoid that. So this is a support column or a support pillar. That's right, Amardeep, very good. So that's the other word that you can use, okay? So this is a support column or a support pillar. Okay, so between 1 and 2, the support column, you can see it here, is removed. The ground is dug deeper, as Aigul said. So the ground is dug deeper. The support column is removed. And what replaces the support column? What's this? What's that red? Okay. So let's build up a little bit of vocabulary in case you get questions about construction. Construction is quite common. There you go, Paula. And now you're not inventing a word, but you're using some nice English vocabulary. Good for you. You've redeemed yourself. Hats off, Paula. Good job. It's called scaffolding. That's right. Okay, let's say that you're like, Adrian, I don't know the word scaffolding. Ferrum, Aigul, maybe. I'm not familiar with that term. Okay. It is iron or metal, so it's metal scaffolding. Use your adjectives for sure. You get points for that. I think it might be 2 Fs, but we'll check that in a second for scaffolding. So it's your metal scaffolding. Let's say like maybe 1 or 2 of you are thinking, I don't know that word. I don't know scaffolding, so what can I write? Okay, if you don't know the word scaffolding, what can you write instead of scaffolding? What would be a more simple vocabulary that could still work? Two Fs, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so scaffolding, 2 Fs. So what could you write? Shuttering, Amardeep, I've never heard it that way. Paula says metal support is okay. All right, support is okay. What else? What else might work? Ladder, I don't think so. Kisi, that's right, framework. Yeah, very good. So it could be called a frame or framework, okay? If you don't know the word scaffolding, frame, like a picture frame, right? So frame or framework. Kisi, very good. Excellent, good job. See? Too bad we can't just all sit the IELTS exam together and just help each other out, work as a team. I'm sure we'd get a really nice high band score that way. But hey, we're doing it here, right? So, yeah, could you imagine? Yeah, we're going to do a team effort on this IELTS exam. I've got my teammates with me. I'm using my lifeline, calling in a friend. All right, so yeah, it's metal, scaffolding, support frame. So if you don't know the exact technical term scaffolding, just work around it, okay? Don't give up. Work around it. Search your vocabulary bank. Think about other words, members, okay? All right. So let's write about that first. So we'll do further analysis. So we'll look at the analysis between 2 and 3 after. But right now, let's just go step by step. So we'll do it a little bit differently this class. Let's talk about the support pillar being downsized, where the bottom half is removed. The existing transit concourse being dug deeper. And during construction, the existing track level being supported by metal scaffolding, which we can also call temporary metal scaffolding. So write this first part of the analysis for me, students. Okay? That's your challenge. So put it together nicely. Focus on your grammar. Okay? So you can say before construction, the GO train station had. Okay, so you're using past tense. During construction, it has. Okay, so focus, don't forget about those past, present, future participle tenses for the verb use, okay? So again, compare this to this now that you have all the vocabulary and you can see the main changes there. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit less talkative so you can hear yourself think. Okay, and for those viewers who are not able to chat if you're not members, I challenge you to do the same. Okay, if you have a pencil and a paper or you have a Word doc open, just do the same. Okay, hopefully you have that information. I'm going to move my screen here so I can also begin the analysis. Okay, go ahead, members, write that first sentence. So here we go. I'll type a little bit as well. All right, so there is my start to the analysis. Just waiting on our students here as well. Okay. I'll read out what I have so far just to kind of get you thinking. Before construction, the Toronto GO station had one floor below the track level with a large support pillar directly under the train tracks. However, during construction, the lower half of this pillar is removed. I'm using passive voice. Notice my use of passive voice because I'm not referring to the workers who are removing the pillar. Okay, so the agent of the action is not present. So, however, during construction, the lower half of this pillar is removed and the ground is dug deeper. So passive, passive. Metal scaffolding is used to replace the support is used to support. There we go. To support the track level while construction is underway. I was going to write something different. That's why that word got hung up there. All right, so that's what I have so far. Let's see what you come up with. Again, here, lots of passive voice. It is present tense, but I'm using passive voice in the present tense. That's why it's is and is and is. Okay, so notice my is. And then, of course, I'm using the past participle because the passive voice uses the past participle since the agent of the action is not named. The agent of the action in this case are the construction workers. So you could do it active. Okay, you could say, however, during construction workers remove the lower half of the pillar and they dig the ground deeper. They replace the pillar with scaffolding to support the track level while construction is underway. So that would be the active voice version of what I wrote. Okay, so naming those engineers and construction workers. And you could do that. You could say engineers, construction workers. Why? Because we see them in the picture. So they're these little guys over here. Okay, those are clearly workers and engineers. All right. So still waiting, students. Remember, you have to be fast. You have to work on being fast as well. Good, Aigul. You're quick today. It's often Begzod that's first out of the gates, but Aigul, you've taken the lead today. No, I'm not pitting students against each other. Don't race, just focus on yourself. Aigul, in the current building, the station's main pillar, let me just check. Okay, you've kind of, it's interesting. Most of you have very similar timing developing your sentences. It's like they're all coming up at the same time on my end. All right, Aigul says, in the current building, okay, careful not to be too wordy, Aigul. You can just say in the current station. Okay, so you can take out the building of the. So in the current station, the main pillar under the train was temporarily supported by scaffolding to make improvements. A little bit unclear, Aigul. Let's try to fix that. So in the current station, the main pillar was under the train, which is temporarily removed, and support is given by scaffolding. Okay, so trying to work with what you have, Aigul. You need more clarity there. Harminder says, it is crystal clear that Toronto GO railway station had only one single floor before construction, and there was, okay, Harminder, past tense, there was a large support pillar under the track, okay? Harminder, don't make that was mistake because that's where you go from a 6.5 down to a 5.5. Okay, Harminder? So that's where you lose that full band. A couple of those types of tense mistakes. Tense mistakes, students, are big mistakes because they're coherence mistakes. So you can't make those coherence mistakes, okay? So was a large support pillar under the track, okay? And then go into comparing it to the during construction. Paula, the main difference during the creation of the new station is the disappearance of the ground and part of the support column from the original design. Paula, finish that idea. A metal scaffolding was used to bear the weight of the upper structure while construction took place. Paula, same thing. Ouch, you just hurt your score. Was taking place or took place. Is taking place. Boom, you just lost marks, okay? I might come across a little bit prudent and harsh, but it's just the reality of it, okay? I'm actually probably a little bit of a softie compared to IELTS examiners. It's because I love my students. But the examiners, they're cold, they're harsh. They see a mistake like that, and they'll just go, oh, just slashed you a half a band, okay? So Kisi says, before construction, there had been 2 floors with a support pillar in the middle. When construction started, the it is a dangling modifier, Casey. When construction started, the lower part of the pillar had been removed. Good, you used it well there. And a temporary metal framework was erected or had been erected to support the track level. Okay, Casey, notice my corrections. Begzod, when looking at the diagram in more detail in the existing transit concourse, the bottom part of the supporting column was removed. Okay, missing was there, Begzod, was removed because it's passive, right, by the construction workers. However, during I would do that as a new sentence, Begzod. So was removed, period. However, comma, during construction, the temporary metal scaffolding has been put in place to support the upper part, so to support the train platforms. And you don't need the transport of people because the most of the weight are the trains, right? Not the people. Okay. Rahul, one more. At a closer look, it is noticeable that in the past, the platform was supported by a large pillar, while in the current scenario, it is not only replaced by temporary metal scaffolding, but the lower level is dug deeper. You have some missing information, Rahul, but the lower level is dug deeper. Okay? All right. Good. Okay, good job. Okay, students, let's keep cracking. Let's keep moving along. So we've done that. Again, here is my version of that. Before construction, the Toronto GO station had one floor below the track level with a large support pillar directly under the train tracks. However, during construction, the lower half of this pillar is removed and the ground is dug deeper. Metal scaffolding is used to support the track level while construction is underway. Okay. All right. So now we have that. Fantastic. Let's make a comparison between here and here. So now we want to compare what will happen after construction. So here it's after. Use the future participle will. Okay. Good job, students. I'm glad that you're picking up on my corrections and feedback. So now we want to compare this. Obviously, we have two floors here. So we have a new support pillar, especially the lower half of that is new. And then what do we have as the final variant here? We have a new transit concourse where people can move to the correct platforms, right? And below the transit concourse, you have the new pedestrian retail level. What does that mean, retail level? So what are we referring to? Okay. Amardeep, before construction, the Toronto GO station had a single floor for passengers below the railway lines where a large support pillar stood. Good correction, Amardeep. Stood in the middle of the building. Okay, or in the middle underneath the train. Middle of the platform is it didn't stand in the middle of the platform because it's under the middle of the platform. Okay, but good correction with the stood, Amardeep. Yes. Okay. Aigul, that's correct. Yeah, retail means shops. Okay, retail stores are stores that sell goods and services. So those are shops. Absolutely. Okay. So let's make this comparison here now. So after construction. So write that sentence. I'm going to do the same. So shops, shopping, retail level. Okay. The new concourse. Notice how the ceiling is lower than the original. The original had a much higher ceiling, right? Here we have two floors with lower ceilings. We have a new part of the support pillar erected, and we have retail or shops below. Okay, so go ahead and make that comparison. So write that comparison. All right. Careful writing things like cafes and bookshops, Amardeep. We don't know that. Don't write information that we don't know. We don't know what kind of stores they are. Probably they're cafes and bookshops, but we don't know that. So don't assume what you cannot see in the diagram. That's bad, okay? For task 1 members, students who are watching, you can't guess information that's not given. If it said that, like if you could see bookstore, so if it says bookstore here on that, and if it says cafe, okay, then yeah, sure, write it. But it doesn't. You don't know that, okay? So don't write something that you don't know. In university, that's really bad when you're looking at a diagram or a chart or a graph and you claim information that's not given. Okay, so don't claim information that's not given just by assuming. Okay, all right, so make that comparison and I'll do the same. Okay. Okay. So while I'm waiting on your sentences, again, you don't have to overcomplicate this. Remember, it's 150 words minimum. So as long as you have 150 words of quality writing, you stand a good chance to get a band 7 or more. Right now, I already have 126. So I'm very, very close. I'm only 24 words off task completion. Okay. So I can write a little bit more. Okay. So again, paying attention to those details. All right, waiting for your comparisons here as well, students. Okay. So Paula says, in the last picture, it is seen that after refurbishment, there are 2 pedestrian passages. The old one is a little bit narrower than the original. Okay, that's a bit awkward, Paula. First of all, it's not the best technique to actually refer to the picture. Instead, refer to the actual building. Okay, so don't refer to the picture, Paula, but refer to the building. So once the building is completed or once it is finished, members and viewers, it's not a good strategy to refer to the actual picture that you see on the paper, but instead refer to the object as it exists in reality. Okay. So, Paula, I would start with something like the new Toronto GO station will have 2 pedestrian levels. The old one is a little bit narrower than the original. Again, it's a bit awkward, Paula. You need to rephrase that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Moreover, in the second lower floor, many shopping spaces have been created for passengers. Lower floor, Paula, many shopping spaces have been created for passengers. Kisi, after the construction, 2 floors will become 3 with lower ceiling. The lowest floor will be a retail level, will be the retail level or a retail level, and the middle one will be the new transit concourse. Kisi, verb agreement is very important, okay? The lowest floor will be, so future participle will be. Middle one is, no. That you can't just shift to present tense within the same sentence like that. Will be, okay? You have to stick with the future participle be, all right? Careful with that. Aigul, after construction, the renovated station will have 2 sub-floors. You don't, Aigul, again, careful with the over-wording, okay? Sub-floors or sub-levels. You don't need sub-level floor. It's awkward, okay? So just sub-levels, which have lower ceiling room or which are not as high as compared to the previous, okay? Heights is smaller, awkward. The lowest sub-level will be full of shops, and the middle floor will be the concourse, not just the waiting room, Aigul, it's the concourse. It's where people move between or among the platforms, okay? All right, Begzod, after the construction, the current pillar will be lengthened and the addition of the new transit concourse will be complete, and there will be a new pedestrian retail level. Notice my correction there, Begzod. It is also interesting to note that the sizes of the ceiling is lower, not shortened, lower, as where before construction it was much higher. Begzod, the correct words are lower and higher, not shorter and bigger, okay? All right, Rahul, furthermore, it is expected that Toronto GO train station will have 3 platforms supported by a full-length pillar called this. Okay, it gets kind of weird, Rahul, after that, so you need to rephrase. Hi, Syed. All right, so students, not to rush too much here, but a quick summary just to wrap up this essay, okay? Sometimes students think, summary is not important. In this case, I would definitely compare the first and the third picture for a summary. So I think especially for this diagram, it's a really good idea to include a summary where you summarize the notable changes here. Okay, so let me add the summary. You can do this on your own as well. All right, so in short, before construction, Toronto GO station has 2 floors, as where afterwards, it will have 3 floors. The primary purpose for this appears to be the addition of a retail level. Okay, that would be my simple summary. So hopefully you recognize the same, all right? So this is my completed essay. I definitely have my 150 words. I have about 170 words, which is fantastic. That's what I need to get my higher band score. Let's read it. Let's make sure it's sensible and mistake-free or error-free. These 3 blueprints depict the Toronto GO train station prior to, during, and following renovations. Immediately, it is evident that the primary goal of construction is to expand the existing transit concourse. See, this is why I didn't include the 2-3 floors at the top, because I want to use that information later. Before construction, the Toronto GO station had one floor below the track level with a large support pillar directly under the train tracks. However, during construction, the lower half of this pillar is removed and the ground is dug deeper. Metal scaffolding is used to support the track level while construction is underway. Following construction, the lower level will be divided into 2 floors, new transit concourse and retail level. Once finished, the metal scaffolding will be removed. As the lower half of the original support pillar will be completed. In comparison to the original design, the lower levels will have less ceiling room, but more to do for the passengers with the availability of shopping. In short, before construction, Toronto GO station has 2 floors, as where afterwards it will have 3 floors. The primary purpose for this appears to be the addition of a retail level. That will get you a band 9 for sure. Okay, members, that's all the time I had for this class, and I can see that you have some nice summaries coming up. Sorry I couldn't get to those in more detail, but hey, lots of feedback for you. So you've done a wonderful job, beautiful participation. Hats off to all of you, okay? Make sure you pay attention to the corrections, write them down, the corrections that I gave you. Practice those corrections, okay? Begzod, thank you for this question. Thank you for requesting this class. Again, members, do that, okay? Request classes. Send me your questions, not just for writing, for speaking, listening, reading, the same, okay? In 30 minutes, we will have a task 2 class where everybody can chat, and we'll go through a task 2 essay question. So hopefully all of you will attend. See you in half an hour. Bye for now. Take care.